Yeah, because the retention rate for people is just like terrible. TikTok brain, Instagram brain, YouTube shorts. The first 5 seconds of your video needs to be the best. I wanted to go over the product I have right now on my shirt. It's called a lapel mic. It's very good quality. It was like 70 or 80 bucks. I would recommend that you get one as well. It's by Rode Microphones. It's pretty good. Bought it on Amazon. Link down below. It should look something like that. So that's what you're gonna need to be successful. Or it can be. You can get one of these wireless mics. Like it's like the Lavalier GO or something. I was watching a video, you might need an adapter. So if you're willing to spend money on that for your wireless microphone, go for it, dude. And yeah, fantastic. So, what are we really doing today? Well, it's like 9:15, 9:23 in the morning. Just came back from breakfast. I called my my Nana, she's cool. I didn't really sleep well last night. Went to bed at like 2. Got up at like 8:20, 8:15. Yeah, I gotta get better sleep. Took some cough syrup, try and calm my nerves down. And then I woke up and I was like, let's go, dude. It's another day. We made it, you know? Energy. Got some hot chocolate here. Got my Ignite mug, you know what I'm saying, from church. I was lit. So what's the purpose of this video? Well, I want to let y'all know I got this lavender mic. It's really good. Now also, if you guys are like, hey man, the cord for this mic is okay Snapchat, okay boomer, you know. The cord is like only 3 feet away, so you're like, Lucas, you can only record from like here with your product. Well, get an extension cord. This was like 10 bucks. It works. Link down below. There's the picture. And yeah, I was thinking like I could just start animating and getting money off that. But dude, Draftkings is interesting. Because I was looking at all these videos. I was looking at Secured Tyson, this guy. It took me a while to find his videos. But he has his whole Discord, right? And he's like, hey man, I'm gonna give you some of my free picks. It's gonna be good. And I was like, okay, sure. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, this is looking pretty cool. I'm at the creator Secured Tyson in the description as well. Dubs, by the way, love your videos. He sent me an email. He was like, yo, you can get the premium for like half off. I was like, yo, Dubs, also, thanks. But no, we didn't go through with his premium thing he's got going on. Even though it's awesome, and I highly recommend that for anyone who like wants to build wealth. Because to make money, you gotta spend money. That's usually how it works. That's the rule of thumb here. It's kind of like real estate. You buy the property, you gotta wait like 20 years, 30 years before you get revenue. It's basically the same thing. Or even just, you know, opening up a Roth IRA or a 401k. You gotta wait some time. You gotta invest. Index funds. That's where it's at right there. 10% annual gain, but only when you're able to invest. Like everyone says invest early, but you can't really do that until you have a job that you can actually be able to finance enough cash into your account, right? So like right now I'm in college. I'm definitely not investing whatsoever, because that would be stupid. Yeah, so main track right now. I'm an accounting major. You know, I know some people are like, oh, I could never do that, you know, because accounting's like kind of hard or whatever. Logistics, supply chain, marketing, finance, you know, it's all in the same, you know, business category. I watched some videos like, is accounting going to be good for you? And then some of the downsides were like, oh, it's going to be replaced by automation. And I'm like, there's no way all the accountants are going to be replaced by automation right now, or maybe anytime in the future. Because it's all about numbers, right? So ChatGPT, they can copy, the AI, it can put numbers in accounts and calculate numbers, right? But you can't do anything without someone actually using the AI. So you got to hire someone who knows how to work AI and then use that to your advantage. So you probably have like an account manager who like uses AI and uses Google Excel sheets for you, and that could be good, right? But you still have to hire somebody, you know. It's not like Elon Musk and all these robots. They can just do everything we can. It's like, no. They can maybe grab a soda from your fridge and hand it to you, but they're not like actual intellectual human beings like we are. Goated, by the way, dude. Like if you're watching this video, dude, you're like 1 out of a million, dude. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like how you know me or how you got to this channel, thanks. Like and subscribe. It's great. But yeah, the channel has gotten 67 subs, dude. I'm so proud, so happy, dude. You know, you gotta stay humble. So, thanks guys for all the subs, all the likes, all the subscribes. Our Instagram, it's all right. I got an okay Instagram. Should probably get a better camera for quality purposes, but here we are. I posted the animation practice 2 days ago. My next goal for that, because I'm treating this animation thing like I'm taking on another class. So like right now I'm taking 6 classes. I'm in like four or five clubs. Just treating this animation passion like another class. So basically I'm taking like 7 classes, which is a pretty big workload if you know how to manage your time properly. For the average Joe, the commoner, no, that's that's discriminatory. For the average person, 7 classes, that's a lot, right? Now for me, you know, even I struggle to like schedule things and study, but only thing I'm really worried about is like this accounting class I'm taking. It's called Managerial Accounting. So what I've learned at ECU, so if you want to go to ECU, you can. It's great. Highly recommend, right? I just applied to be an RA, which is a residential assistant. Basically, you get to live in a dorm like everyone else, but you watch over your whole hallway. This means anytime anyone gets in trouble, you're on call, kind of like a nurse or something. You're on call, and you have to be available for people to reach you. And then you have people above you, people under you. You have like coworkers who are also RAs, and you have this whole system. And if you've ever worked in sales, it's something like that, right? A manager, a coworker. So what my plan is for this RA position is to get the job, right? Get the dub, I would say. Because that interview is going to be like, so why do you want to be an RA? I'm like, man, I like to help out the community, you know, volunteer hours. I mean, a big part of it is the benefits, right? I mean, why do you think people apply to be RAs? It's because you get free dorm, which is like free housing. You get like free dining hall, and you get like a stipend every month. So, like, why are you asking me, like, why? I guess it's because they're looking for like a selfless answer to where it's not like I'm only thinking about myself and my life goals right now and like no one else. Because if that's the case, you're not going to be in a good position to help other people, like your classmates, your fellow pirate alumni. Because you have to look at the big picture. You have to perform on a team. You have to be a team player. And that's all they're looking for. And then they want to see, oh, what's your passions? What do you like to do? I actually went to the RA practice interview, which was great. And they gave us this sheet here. Now, my interview is in like 2 days. I haven't really practiced a lot, mainly just because I'm feeling like I'm not going to get the job, but that's just because I haven't practiced it. But once you practice enough, you're pretty confident. It's kind of like playing Rocket League, Once you know how to aerial and like maybe get a wall touch or like get a double touch into the goal, you're like, dude, I'm so good at this game, let's go. Or like once you know how to get profits on Stardew Valley and complete the community center bundle in like 1 year in the game, and you're like, man, I'm so good at Stardew Valley. And then you're playing Minecraft and you're like, I just made a nether portal, dude. You're making gains. You're doing your job, like it's awesome. You're completing the game. You're accomplishing things, right? You're getting the Fortnite W, which really doesn't mean as much as cool as it did like back in 2017, because everyone was new at the game. You didn't have any sweats in Fortnite. No one, creative wasn't a thing, because once creative hit, everyone was like learning how to actually build, use the build mode, and then you get like full pieced and like full boxed and then one pumped and then you're done. You get coned, you edit the cone. Then you have the claw method where you're putting your finger on like the X and Y and it's like then you have like back paddle buttons to help you. It's pretty competitive. Or you just play on mouse and keyboard, which is cool for like some people. I don't know. Anyway, back to RA, right? So they gave us some tools for success. It says when they're like, tell me about yourself, they want to know why you're applying for the job. And then it says like, what makes you think we're going to hire you for this position rather than someone else? But obviously the interviewer is going to ask it in a much nicer way, to not come off as like aggressive or like brutally honest, right? So they're going to be like, well, how can I reframe this question, right? Like my Business 7 program thing I'm doing every Wednesday at 9. It's pretty cool. How can you reframe a question? Well, why do you think you're capable? It's like, no, so then you have to ask like how. So like how did you get to know about this position? What experiences do you have that can further improve our system that we already have? Because it's a competitive market, right? And they're not going to just want someone who doesn't know how to answer questions, which is a good thing to know how to do. Anyway, yeah, so when they're like, tell me about a time when something bad happened at work, how did you deal with that? So what you're going to want to do is present the problem, right? Kind of walk through your process of how you dealt with the problem and then how you're going to do better next time. Kind of just improve how you think, how you act. Because words have meaning, but also body language and, talking through things. So like, tell me about a time, and I think I did this in the wrong way at my interview I had an interview for the financial wellness program or internship. He said, tell me about a time when something bad happened at work and you had to fix it. And so what I basically said was, oh yeah, we had this person, they really weren't performing well. So we basically just were like, yeah, we have to let you go. But I didn't really go through the process of like how you can prevent that, which is what they're looking for. So like giving advice. You want to give advice in the moment. You want to be calm the entire time to maintain composure. You want to basically control your environment to the best of your ability. So it says in the STAR format, which is like the situation. So like, where were you? Okay, I was at my cooking job back at home. What was the task and problem you faced? I was having a problem realizing how to drop fries faster on the cook line. It took me like a solid month or two to understand like, oh, you have to drop fresh fries and rotation fries and understand what color it needs to be and everything. And once you get it down, you're like really good at your job. Action, what did you do? So what I ended up doing was I attempted to copy the strategy that my manager had of just dropping the fries, pulling it back up before they get too crispy, and then putting it back in the pan where it needed to go. And I made sure when you pull the fries up, you don't splash any oil on anyone. Safety protocols, right? Safety first. And over the next couple of weeks, I gained that ability to notice when the fries were done, when I needed to drop fresh fries, crispy fries. But I only learned that ability by practicing what my manager taught me to do. And so the result was, what did you learn? So it says, often students respond with hypotheticals about what they would do if they were in a situation. But if they do that, they haven't answered the question. They want real specific answers. So I know I just looked at the result. What was the result, or what did you learn? I learned that I have to be patient. I had to notice when the fries were done, when it was ready. I had to look at my area around me. I had to be aware and alert at all times, obviously. And I learned how to run the station better. That would be a good answer. Not like, well, if I did work at McDonald's, I would, no, they don't want that. So general tips, use concrete examples. Make sure you articulate and you are unique and you can show your value, like contribute to the organization. So some first year students are afraid to use their high school experience in answers as they feel it sounds less professional. Showcase your biggest leadership experience from high school. Also show how you have taken steps to get involved at ECU. And I've gotten pretty involved, dude. Like, I'm in the SAM, which is like which is like what is it? Strategic about leadership or something? Management? It's Society of Management, that's right. Yeah, so Society for Advancement of Management. I'm in SAM, I'm in Student Leadership. What is it? Like I know what I'm in, I just can't really articulate it properly. I'm on the Student Leadership Board, which is a place where people want to connect and build connections with others through examples, having a good time, just connecting with your fellow peers. And they do seminars for like accounting majors. And they talk through managing your time properly and productivity levels, self-leadership and personal growth. So basically just working on yourself, right? But in the interview, you don't want to talk that fast because then they just can't understand you like you guys are. Like you probably can't. You probably had to reverse the past 5 seconds, like 3 times. You're like, what did Lucas say right now? So obviously you want to be aware and alert of other people. So yeah, I'm in Society of Advancement for Management. I'm on the Student Leadership Board. I'm on the Rock Climbing Club. I'm on the Kiowa Club, which is like Japanese Culture Club, which is just learning about Japanese culture. We watch movies, which you can say that, but that's not. It's just learning about Japanese culture in general, like how they celebrated the New Year, like the Chinese New Year, different traditions and like ways of life, you know. So that's like 4 clubs. I'm also in FMA, which is Financial Management Association. So actually I'm in like 5 clubs. I also went to the RA interview. That was fun. I've also been to Polar Plunge, getting connected there. I've been to 2 rock climbing competitions with my fellow members. Pretty fun. All nice people. Love rock climbing. It's really fun. So it says resident advisor workshop questions. So it says, tell me about yourself, which is very general because they said once, I gotta heat up my coffee. Yeah, buddy. Water bottles, TV, type. So yeah, it says like, tell me about yourself. And I said, talking about why you want to be an RA, customer service experience. But it's like, why would the interviewer ask, tell me about yourself? But then they're not really being specific to the field. They're like, so tell me about yourself. And then the orange slip is like, it should be the thought of tell me about yourself as it relates to being an RA. Which, in a sense, doesn't really make sense. It's like, well, it's a general question. Just ask me something more specific. Thanks. Like, they're being very vague about this workshop, and it's kind of making me a little annoyed. But dude, at least they gave me some like prep for the interview. Because the financial wellness was just like, yeah, show up for the interview, what's going on, all that stuff. Great people, right? Great, they're cool. But like WRA, you know, workshop. So it's like, what is your strengths? And I was like, well, I'm passionate about my work. I'm dependable. I'm hardworking. Because that's what the company wants to know. They want to know your characteristics. They want to know how you work, how you operate. What do you do in times of stress? Because if you crash out at a customer or your coworker, you're obviously not suitable for the job. And you can get fired, or you can get like let go for the evening, or you know, sometimes people like walk out on jobs, which is like a write-up, and then 3 write-ups, you're out, you know, you're done. It's just about having that service mindset of being selfless and putting others before yourself. Like if I go off the cook line and I'm seeing my other 2 dudes, guys, girls, gals, whatever, on the cook line, there's still 3 tickets up. I'm getting a drink. I'm like, hey, y'all want a drink too? You know, that's being selfless, because I'm not just thinking about me, I'm thinking about others. Because that's not just for the customer, that's for your co-workers as well, which is great. So it's like, what is one area of growth you are working on? So that could be, well, I've been having a really bad time with scheduling my homework assignments. So how did you solve it, or how did you operate? So what I did to improve that process was I wrote down my assignments. I saw when they were due. I went through the material, and then I completed the homework a couple of days before the assignment was due. But I had to write that down on a notebook or use a calendar of some sort in order to be productive and be ahead of schedule and to not procrastinate. And then you're like, okay, so after I do that, so what did you learn from doing that? I learned that procrastination, everyone has procrastinated in some form, shape, or way, and it's not healthy in a sense. So being productive, being aware of your surroundings, be aware of what deadlines you need to hit, and then hitting the deadlines is very productive and is good. So let's say, and then you can give an example if you want to, if you're feeling, on fire, or if you're feeling motivational. You're like, for example, although it's only one question, so like, why would you say for example? But you can do anything you want, it's an interview. Just be respectful and stuff. So like, for example, let's say I have an assignment due at 11:59 p.m. I'm going to wake up that morning, grab some breakfast. Then I'm going to look at the material. If I don't have any plans to do that day, or like go to clubs or go to work or volunteer, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at the material, I'm going to read through the book, and I'm going to answer the essay questions. If each essay question is 100 words, I'm going to do the first two questions, maybe from around 10 o'clock to 12. Then I'm going to take a lunch break, maybe watch Netflix for an hour. 1 o'clock, 1:30, I'm going to do the rest of the 3 questions, because at that point, I'm going to know that I can actually do the work. I'm confident. I have entered the flow state of mind, and I complete the homework assignment, and I turn it in about maybe 10 hours, 9 hours before it's due, which isn't bad. Next question? Right, so that's how I would answer that. Just work through the process, because no one really understands you until you articulate it in a way that is understandable. If that makes sense. So it's like, why? So the fourth question, right? It's like, why are you interested in becoming an RA? And I wrote down, I like to help people out, lead them into the correct path, getting them involved on campus, because that's what RAs do. They host events for the students to come out and do activities and hang out with them in their community, get plugged in on campus. And a part of that is also like, that also could increase graduation rates, because you're like meeting with other people, other people are like, hey, you got an essay due, go home and do it. I mean, potentially, I don't know. I said I wanted to be that light in the darkness for people. I wanted to be the inspiration for the position. Or no, what did I... I put inspiration for the... Yeah, so they want inspiration for the position. They want to know that you care about other people. In a professional manner. Nothing too personal, obviously, but that you care in a professional manner, Tell me about a time you have not gotten along with a team member. And then they said you could use a group project example. Tell them about like my old work experience at the burger joint back at home. I could be like, So what did I write down? I could be like, yeah, so I didn't get along with this guy named John back at home at my at the burger place I used to work at. But I confronted our conflict, I guess, and then I talked about it. I articulated why we had problems, and then we were cool, and then we didn't have problems. But as you can already tell, I'm not sounding that confident. So what you want to do is, so I had a problem with this guy named John, right? We weren't operating in a way that felt comfortable. So I decided to talk about it, right? Because they want to see the process. I decided to talk about it, articulate the problem, and then I took steps in order to work with this person mentally, whether that's having more patience or being more selfless or just being in the right state of mind for work, being cool, being chill, taking one for the team. And then what did I learn about getting along with people? Service jobs aren't for everyone. It takes an overwhelming amount of willpower. But once you cross that barrier of, I'm going to stick through, I'm not going to quit, I'm going to keep going to work, I'm going to keep doing my job, I'm going to improve every single day, I'm going to swap positions with team members to maybe get an increase of pay, right? Acquisition. And then I'm going to take the steps in order to be productive, be the person I want to be in the future, to not let anyone down, to be dependable. And there's your answer. I would say that sounds pretty well if I was an interviewer, That means they're probably going to be like, yo, this dude never quits jobs. He never calls out of work, dude. He's awesome, So that's really what the interview wants to know. So it says, describe a time you were faced with multiple responsibilities. How did you prioritize those responsibilities and why? So I'm pretty involved in the community. I'm faced with volunteering, going to club events, getting schoolwork done, and hanging out with friends. I would say those are 4 main responsibilities I have. So how I do this is I schedule time slots throughout my day. I ask people, if you want to hang out, I might give you a day notice, a couple days notice, maybe a week. If I think about the thing to plan and I plan it out. Or other people do the same with me. If there's a birthday coming up, they're going to let me know 5 days or maybe a week ahead so I can travel down to them and we can meet up and have fun. But that only works if they invite me and I'm down and I don't forget. So I also have to have the responsibility of writing things down, scheduling, and meeting up and having fun. And then I plan my day or week depending on, what I'm doing for the day. And then you can go to examples, or you don't have to do that, right, for the viewers. You don't have to say examples, but you could also take this into what did you learn? Most people are lazy. Most people don't want to do things. So, or they're just busy. It's most people are busy. So you need to schedule things ahead of time for a plan. And planning things in advance for people is a huge tool for success. Many clubs will do this. They will say when a competition is coming up, maybe a month or 2 months ahead of schedule. They'll plan it. They'll let their members know in a Discord, in a GroupMe, or in a Teams chat, in Microsoft Teams. And then you sign up. You get the Google Forms going. Everyone's in the van. You drive off. You're there. You're back. You're fine. You get registered for being a member of the club, and so on. And you have members of the club, the treasurer. You have the president, the co-president, an officer, and so on. And that's how you run a successful club or business, is scheduling. Scheduling is the biggest asset you could have for anything, really. Scheduling and acting on the schedules. That's all it says. Number 7, how would you engage a student who appears to be struggling with their transition to ECU? Now, one of the ways you find this out is people don't just tell you they're struggling. So you have to ask them questions. You have to go up to them. You have to communicate, even if you're like kind of introverted like me. For an RA, you have to be extroverted, because you're like, RAs advertise. They have some form of marketing and advertising skills, or because they have to be able to communicate well, right? Number 1. Number 2, they have to schedule events for everyone in the dorm, in the hall. They have to post a picture of themselves of like, I grew up here. I'm from a small town. I'm really glad I'm at ECU, to be relatable, so that people can like go to you for things, even when they're in trouble, because that's what the position is for. It's for safety and being responsible for everyone in the dorm, basically. So that's why there's so many benefits. It's because you're taking on the responsibility, the risk of that responsibility, and then they're giving you tons of benefits, give or take. So it says, how did you hope to serve as a role model for students? Or how do you hope to serve as a role model for students? I don't hope to serve as a role model for students. I actually am a role model for students by going to clubs. I made the Dean's List last semester. I have a relatively good GPA. I go to clubs. I hang out with friends. I'm responsible for the most part. I schedule things. I run like a full-time YouTube channel. Now, sure, is my upload schedule decent? Sure. Might upload once a week. Is this my 68th video or something? Sure. But it's all about the process and being locked in for that process, right? Like this morning I filled out a thing for like Draftkings to sponsor me because they're cool. They have safety protocols in place. You have to be like above 18 or I think you have to be above 21 to bet on stuff. And then they have the resources for getting help if you have a betting problem. So if you're like betting all of your money, there's a helpline, there's a help problem, and then they can solve that problem so they're not like destroying lives. Because betting is risky. It's a game. Life's not fair, but sometimes you win. And when you win, it's great. And yeah, so that's Draftkings is pretty good. I would love to promote them. Because I know like Joe Bartolozzi promotes them. And he's relatively one of the YouTubers I really like, aside from like Corey Kenshin. And like Queso is pretty cool. Jinxie's okay. He blew up from like being cringe, but it's whatever. Just naming a couple of the big hitters. Markiplier is cool too. He's been doing YouTube for like 15 years. Jacksepticeye, also like 15 years. PewDiePie is also a big name. If you haven't heard of PewDiePie, like where have you been in the YouTube space for like 20 years, dude? The Swedish guy, who like got married. He has a kid. He like moved to Japan. It turns out he like started working out and he has abs. And I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. I'm like, so proud. Or not proud. I'm just like admiring his success in terms of where he started. And I kind of want to replicate the same thing. So number 9 is, what role does an RA play in creating welcoming communities? So this is where they're saying, have you noticed anything in the halls as a dorm ECU student that you can articulate to us in a meaningful way? So that's really what they're asking. So I put, RAs have to plan events. They have to schedule things. That's what I'm saying. They have to be open about their lives. What town they're from. What passions they like to have. Etc. They're like the leader for other students. They have to lead others, right? They have to be that person. They have to be the in-between between like you and the police, basically. I'm not trying to say they're like the therapist for the dorms, but if you ever want to have a nice chat, bro, just go up to an RA. They're chilling, you're chilling. And yeah, you're gonna have a good time, good interaction. And they have to, be involved in the community and in events, be that person that they can rely on. Yeah, so it's a pretty decent packet, I would say. I think I'm really prepared for this interview. As you can tell, I've given great answers. You got to go through that STAR method, which is like, how'd you get in the position? Or I don't even use STAR, bro. It's like all in my head right now. I'm just like, so what's the position you're in? How did you overcome the problem, basically? What steps did you take to fix the problem, basically? And then what have you learned from taking those steps? Which is the first two, like, very important metrics that they use to measure a yes or no for an interview. And then, yeah, it's just a bunch of, like, side information and stuff. But no, the financial wellness interview was, like, the fifth one. The seventh question was, he was like, so pick one of these items, right? Let's just say this tube, some detergent, some sunglasses, or some like earbuds. Tell me how you would sell this. Or it was like, no. It was like, tell me how you would sell this and how your company started up or something. And I was like, well, our firm started back all the way 6 months ago. We support our families. It's a very financial, program. We've grown in revenue from like 0 to 100,000. And I was thinking about selling earbuds in the marketplace and then like using keywords. And then that wasn't even like 30 seconds. But obviously, I guess I wasn't that good in the interview. But my friend Christian, apparently he made it to like the second round of interviews. But he still didn't get in. I don't know. But yeah, dude, like I'm not salty about not getting the internship, but I kind of am. But like staying humble in that, right? It's like for an RA interview, at least they had a workshop for me to improve my answers, how to articulate what I mean, and how to communicate well with others. But for this financial wellness thing, it was like, just show up. We're going to ask you some questions. I guess you're supposed to like do all the research before you go. Like, But it's basically like, how can you improve the company that's hiring you? That's what people want to know. What's your skill set? How can you help me? What value do you provide? But with the financial wellness, dude, I felt like they were gatekeeping information. You know what I mean? Like everyone just gatekeeps nowadays. They're like, no more, dude. You can't come inside our community. I gotta put a gate right there. But I'm only salty about it because that's one of the interviews like I never really got hired for. Because like when I worked at Jimmy John's for like a week last semester, they hired me because they needed people to work. You know, but they could tell I was motivated and actually wanted to work and could work night shift. But what I didn't realize was like their night shift meant like 10 p.m. till 3 a.m. or something, or like 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. And I didn't really communicate that well with them either. So that's why I wasn't employed there for a while. Because, you know, I don't like staying up past 12 p.m. Or 12 a.m. I don't think anyone does. Because it's like during nighttime. It's like I have some morning classes I take, you know. I'm not trying to throw off my whole schedule. But yeah, we might apply to McDonald's if we don't get this RA thing going down, get some cash. Honestly, like, I probably won't even apply to McDonald's because, you know, I've gained a little bit off of betting on Draftkings, and I have a system, and I have a way of gaining money. So, yeah. So it's like, well, making profits. You can sell a program, whether that's working out. If people want to be just as successful as you. Where it's like, well, my net worth isn't even a lot. Like, I'm a relatively small content creator. That doesn't mean I don't provide value. I'm just not, you know, because people, they look at the results. Everyone looks at results. And when they see that you're gaining, they want to be like you. They want to subscribe. Because when you have a lot of influence, a lot of numbers, a lot of metrics, a lot of subs and likes, you grow, and it's great. It's really fun. But the process is every time you upload, your expectations have to be little to none. You have to have that discipline of like, hey, I'm gonna upload this video. I'm not gonna look at the views. I'm not gonna look at the comments for like a good solid couple days, because it gets to people. It gets to people's success. If they're going to be successful, if they're going to reach the sub count, the like count, it's whatever. So, yeah. You know, it's kind of like how Mr. Beast began. It's kind of like how Mr. Beast got popular. He thought of an idea, he executed it, he counted to like what, 100,000, or like he counted to 1 million in a live stream without stopping with like one of his buddies, I think. And then he just kept the popularity from there. He kept uploading, he kept investing all of his capital that he gained from the video into his next video, into better quality, better production, better ideas. He started hiring people, and then that's where it happens. That's where you get, you know, rich. Thanks for watching. Doing this will greatly increase grades and tutoring abilities. All right, boys. Thank you.